The verge of leading 2-0. And indeed they do lead 2-0. Muserskiy with a one-on-one block.
Standing at a towering 7 feet 2 inches or 2.1 meters, Dmitriy Muserskiy isn't just a volleyball player, he's a wall. With a spike reach of 12 feet 2 inches or 3.72 meters and a career packed with jaw-dropping plays, this Olympic champion has rewritten the history books. But today, we're diving into what makes him a true defensive nightmare, his insane blocking ability. From stuffing world-class spikers to single-handedly shutting down entire offenses. Here are the top 20 craziest blocks by the legend himself, Dmitriy Muserskiy. Blocking in volleyball is an art, timing, precision, and sheer dominance at the net. And no one does it better than Dmitriy Muserskiy. Whether he's crushing attacks from the best outside hitters or denying powerful opposites in crucial moments, his presence alone forces opponents to rethink their game plan. In this video, we've compiled his most jaw-dropping, game-changing blocks, moments where he turned defense into a spectacle. Get ready to relive the sheer terror of going up against one of the tallest and most dominant blockers in volleyball history. 20. Russia vs Australia. The height of this player is just something to behold, and sometimes it even feels unfair to his opponents, cause all he has to do is extend his hands and reach up a little bit and the spiked ball will be blocked. This moment was no exception as Australia and Russia were battling for points. After an amazing pickup, the Australian spiked the ball and was left dumbfounded when Muserskiy blocked it casually. 19. Japan vs Russia. In this match between Russia and Japan, Dmitriy Muserskiy was playing at his usual position, the feared middle blocker all over the world. He didn't even need to put in too much effort to prove why he's extremely feared as a middle blocker. The Japanese player spiked the ball with all his might and he blocked it like he was swatting at a fly. 18. Poland vs Russia. This block was as swift and deadly as nearly all his other blocks, but what distinguishes it is the look on the player's face. He put a lot of effort into that spike only to be blocked like it's no big deal. It looked like he was surely contemplating his existence. 17. Bulgaria vs Russia. Picture a player sprinting forward, leaping high and positioning the ball with precision, ready to execute the perfect spike. But just as victory seems certain, Dmitriy Muserskiy looms over the net, effortlessly shutting it down. All that effort gone in an instant, and the worst part? He makes it look ridiculously easy. 16. Brazil vs Russia. It doesn't matter which team he's playing against, his blocking skills remain precise. Who's spiking the ball doesn't really have an effect on Muserskiy, as he will block it just the same. His giant hands over his 7 foot 2 inches body surely frustrate the opponents to the next level. 15. Russia vs Brazil. There's no doubt Muserskiy revels in making a fool out of the spikers. Even in this match, he blocked and put down the ball like he was stopping a child from doing something. His ability to reach the highest of the spikes and then have the skill to block them precisely is truly a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. 14. Serbia vs Russia. The Muserskiy wall is totally impenetrable. What can pass through the usual blockers never passes through Dmitriy Muserskiy. This specific moment was no exception. Again, he barely had to reach over his head to stop the ball and earn the point for his team. 13. Iran vs Russia. He didn't even really have to make an actual effort. All he had to do was reach over the net and softly touch the ball to stop it from coming into his side of the court. The opponents were left baffled and they couldn't react fast enough, and the ball ended up finding the ground in their side of the court. 12. Russia vs Iran. It feels like he was determined to punish the Iranian players. Not only did he block them with accurate precision, but he also spiked the ball when he got the next touch. The strength and speed of the ball was so unexpected that even the diving libero couldn't save the ball. 11. Russia vs Brazil. Lucas probably saw his volleyball career flash before his eyes. He was trying so hard to spike the ball into the Russian side of the court, but what he didn't know was to whom he was trying to pass. Muserskiy's monster block was in his way, and it's absolutely no surprise that the shot got blocked. 10. USA vs Russia. Muserskiy really said absolutely not. The USA player was trying to spike the ball in an attempt to score a point, but Muserskiy was not in the mood to let it pass as usual. He jumped up only a little to block the ball. 9. Germany vs Russia. Dmitriy Muserskiy's defense is an unstoppable force. While most blockers struggle to contain powerful spikes, he makes it look effortless. This moment was yet another example of his dominance. Without even fully extending, he reached up and sealed off the net, leaving no chance for the ball to pass. What would normally break through against other defenders was completely shut down, earning his team yet another crucial point. 8. Italy vs Russia. Even if the attackers try to trick Muserskiy, he can still succeed in executing a perfect block. In this specific moment, the Italian player saw the giant leap up in an attempt to stop the ball. So he decided to hit a little on Muserskiy's left. He thought he could clear the block wall, but he couldn't execute what he planned. Muserskiy slightly bent his arms to his left, and there it was, the legendary monstrous block. 7. Australia vs Russia. As the Australian attacker soared into the air, looking to hammer the ball past the defense, he was met with an unshakable obstacle, Dmitriy Muserskiy. Towering over the net, Muserskiy anticipated the play with perfect timing, positioning his massive hands exactly where they needed to be. The moment the ball left the spiker's hand, it was already too late. Muserskiy's block was a wall with no cracks. The ball slammed straight back onto the Australian side, hitting the floor before anyone could react. Another point for Muserskiy's team, another moment of dominance at the net. 6. Canada vs Russia. This one should definitely go down as one of the best blocks of team effort. Muserskiy proves to be the best blocker again and again, but this time he accomplished a monster block with his teammate Vlasov. Together, they formed an impenetrable wall that wasn't leaving any chances of the ball going through. The Canadian players couldn't believe their eyes. 5. Italy vs Russia. From what we've seen, Dmitriy Muserskiy loves punishing players from literally every team, and he didn't go easy on the Italian players either. Russians were leading the set, but that didn't stop Muserskiy from trying to add another point for his team. There was something truly extraordinary this time. He didn't even jump a little to block the ball. Instead, this was a standing block. 4. Serbia vs Russia. When Muserskiy says no, it's a no. The rally started with the Russian players serving the ball. The Serbian players were planning on returning the ball back to their side of the court. But after the serve receive, they could only succeed in hitting the ball in Muserskiy's hands. 3. Brazil vs Russia. No matter who's on the other side of the net, Muserskiy's blocking remains unmatched. It makes no difference who's attacking, he shuts them down all the same. With his massive 7'2" frame and enormous hands looming over the net, he turns every spike into a frustrating challenge for his opponents, forcing them to rethink their strategy with every play. 2. Bulgaria vs Russia. Imagine a player preparing for a spike. He runs, jumps in the air, and angles the ball perfectly to land it in the opposition's court, only to be blocked by the giant Dmitriy Muserskiy. Not only does all the effort go to the trash, but what's more devastating is the fact that he makes it look like the easiest thing ever. 1. Iran vs Russia. Muserskiy barely had to exert himself. With his towering height, he simply extended his hand over the net and made the slightest contact with the ball, halting its path before it could cross into his court. The opposing team stood stunned, unable to react in time as the ball dropped helplessly onto their side of the floor.